This meeting is being recorded.
And I'm going to go to Facebook now.
It's going to be on your page so I can find it?
Yep, Trinace Nikki Richardson. And then I'll be sharing it out to all of my pages and you can share.
Me too. Well, I see you right here. Then as soon as I get it, I'll grab it and put it.
Awesome. I just got to put a little bit in there. Okay, here we go. All right, I see us on. Hello, everybody. Oh, we are about 60 seconds early, and you know what that means. It gives you time to share. So go ahead and start sharing with someone. Let someone know that we are on tonight. This is your Real Women Facebook live chat time, and we need to let someone know that it's time to soar. So don't play. Don't play. Share this out. Hey there, Addie. Help me out by sharing this. Let someone know that we're on. Hey there, Carla. Come on. Let's get some folks on tonight. You all are in for a treat tonight. This is an awesome woman who is about to share with us. And I'm busy taking my 60 seconds countdown to share. All right. I'm almost there. It's not doing what I want it to do. Let's see here. There we go. Hello, everybody. Come on in. Let someone know that we're on. It is time to soar. Have you shared it yet? Say hello to us so that we can say hello to you. And I've got one more to send it to, and I'm ready to roll. All right. Hello, everyone. It's 8:01, so I'm in good time. Technology was our friend today. We are so happy to be with you. Thank you for tuning in. I see that there are several of you here. Come on and say hello to us while you're here. Just wave at us, send us some loves and some likes to let us know that you're joining us. This is our Real Women Facebook live chat, and my name is Trinace Richardson. I am the founder of both the Leading with Soul mentoring membership community as well as Real Women. And so on Tuesday nights, we talk about Real Women and give you a sneak peek into what it's like to have real conversations with real women. And so Real Women exists to create safe spaces for you to do personal development work on yourself. And we do this through live and virtual sister circles. So you can find us in the DC, Maryland, Northern Virginia, and Hampton Roads, Virginia, every Saturday of the month except for fifth Saturdays. You'll find us meeting live in sister circles. So on first Saturdays, we're in Charles County. Second Saturdays, we're in Prince George's County. Third Saturdays, we're in Northern Virginia. And fourth Saturdays, we're in Baltimore, Maryland, and Hampton Roads, Virginia. There is a circle near you if you are willing, if you are in those areas or willing to travel to them. But even if you're not in those areas, no matter where you live, we have a virtual community called All Access. And we call it this because we give you access to a virtual sister circle, a personal development institute that houses literally our growth path. the personal development path that we have created so that our members can grow personally and become real women who communicate, real women who connect, real women who cultivate their own growth and the growth of others, and real women who contribute to others. You don't want to miss this opportunity to become a member of our community. In fact, we have opened up a free workshop to you all. And so if you go to TrenaceRichardson.com/workshop, free workshop, you will have the opportunity, and I'll put it in the chat, but you will have the opportunity to really dig into our free workshop and find out what it is to be a part of Real Women. And I got it right now. I know what it is. Somebody can help me. TrenaceRichardson.com/Real Women Rock. And that's where you go to find out more information about who we are and how you can become an all-access member, as well as just going to our website, realwomenrock.org. realwomenrock.org, because everything about us is listed there. And so we have just one more month left after this Thanksgiving week. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you all. One more month left in 2019, and we are just getting really juicy with our lives to make sure that you have the opportunity to be poured into in a very fruitful way. I'm excited to let you know that in this coming month, not only will we continue to have awesome women like Dr. Jamison, but we're also going to conduct the purge. And we have done this 21-day purge with our all access community. It's been a closed thing that we've done, and we're going to open it up to all of you all. And so over the next few days, you will see information about that. That will also be available online. All right, that should have given you plenty of time to invite who you want to invite. We've taken 4 or 5 minutes for the church announcements so that you can invite who you want to invite. Let me just see. Happy Thanksgiving, Z. Hello, Mama Laverne, Addie, Kia. Thank you so much for sharing the website, Addie. And Sandra's here, Joyce is here. I see all of y'all. Hey, Nika, your peeps are here. So all of you all, you are in for a treat. Listen, this woman of God is not just a minister, not just a speaker and a coach and an author, but she is truly an inspiration. And I have gotten a chance to know her and love her from afar, and then to be connected to her in the last really the last year or so. I remember literally last year us connecting in a lounge setting at a conference and having a really fruitful conversation, and then kind of really fast forward to really connecting again, because I was like, I want to talk to her in front of all of y'all. And so we really literally cannot stop talking to each other. So you all are just going to get the continuation of a conversation that we have been having. But Dr. Sharron Jamison, if you would not mind telling the people who you are in your own way and what you do, both professionally and personally, whatever you'd like to share. Thank you for being here.
First, I am so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful. I admire your work. I admire what you're doing. And it's nothing like being around beautiful, brilliant, powerful women who accept all of us. So I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much. Well, I am a minister, an author, speaker, a mom, like you mentioned. I'm also in corporate America still. I'm a life strategist. And what I absolutely love to do is to work with high-achieving, high-performing women. Mm-hmm. Identify their hidden beliefs or their unconscious belief systems that prevent them from living fully and freely. Because so often we don't even tap the surface of who we were created to be, because we are contaminated, are trapped under isms, racism, sexism, abilityism, bodyism. These isms, and these isms have a way of intimidating us and sapping our power, sapping our strength, and taking our joy. And so I help them identify those hidden beliefs because we all have them. But I feel like it's a blessing to shine some light in some dark places.
Yeah.
Because when we light on our dark places, that's when we can really soar. So that's who I am. And the most important thing is I'm a mom and a child of God, and I'm grateful to be a vessel and be used in a variety of ways.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And I totally agree with you. I love the synergy of what you do and what our community is all about, which I know this is going, I'm telling y'all, somebody needs to be on that you haven't shared this with yet. So go ahead and get them, tag them, do whatever you need to do to get them on. And remember, this is interactive. So I'll be asking you all questions while I'm talking with Dr. Jamison, and then you all have the opportunity to ask her questions as we move forward in this discussion. And you mentioned so much, and you mentioned your moniker, which is to soar higher. And we have utilized that analogy, if you will, of soaring, or the one thing that I've used often is the idea of how we choose to travel. So do we choose to crawl? Do we choose to walk? Do we choose to run, ride in a car, ride on a bike, ride in a car, ride on a train, or do we choose to fly? And you know, there's some figurative kind of analogies that we could make to all of those. But I think what happens is life happens to us and causes us to even doubt that we have wings to soar, that it is even possible for us to transcend and rise above whatever we have gone through or are going through. And so we're either looking at our current state, or we are stuck and bound because of our past state. And we just, it's like cement. Our feet are stuck in cement, and we don't see the transcendence that's available to us. And so I would love for you to just start off by speaking from your heart, by sharing what soaring means to you, whether it's telling, you know, you could start by telling us your soar story, how you got to this place of teaching about soaring. And I really would love to ask everyone who is listening and tuning in right now as she's sharing, literally, do you feel like, and I'll use these words for now, right? Do you feel like you are crawling? Do you feel like you're walking, or do you feel like you're soaring? Do you feel like I'm just really just struggling, trying to make it? Do you feel like I'm walking, I'm managing things, you know? Or do you feel like you are transcending what you're going through and you are more about who you are than what's happening to you and you're soaring? If you could put in the chat, and I'll keep monitoring it while she's sharing with us. But are you crawling? Are you walking? Or are you soaring? And if you wouldn't mind just telling us your soar story.
Sure. I love how the imagery of that. I believe that soaring, I think you already said it. I believe that we soar over 4 different things that are really critical, because you have to soar above and beyond your circumstances, whatever that is. You have to soar above and beyond your cultural conditioning that put in caps on what you hope for, what you desire for, what you think that you can reach for. We have to soar over the chatter of the crowd, the naysayers and the people pleasers. Soar over all of the childhood. So there's a couple of things that you have to really soar if you're going to really be all that you feel that God has called you to be. My soaring story started very early. I would say when I was 5 years old. Born in the 60s, went through integration. And even though integration was the law of the land, it was not the love of the people. And it doesn't matter if you have a law, but you have no love. We know that in Christianity. So what happened was I was in kindergarten, and the teacher, you know, I was in the circle, and she wanted me to sit in a special place. The only Black kid, nobody else looks like me. And so what happened was I didn't want to sit where she wanted me to sit. And so I jumped up. So the teacher took the chair and hit me in the head, because in her attacking her, right? Because in her mind, Black kids, we were animals, we were less than, we were dangerous, right? That is the cultural conditioning that people had experienced. So what that taught me at 5 years old, that I was nothing, that I was abused, that it was okay to have violence against me, that I was unworthy, that it was okay to humiliate me and embarrass me. And that was just in kindergarten.
Wow.
Kids jumped on me, again, during integration, and jumped on me and gave me a concussion. And so, and the nurse did not call my mother because she thought Black kids had harder heads. So now I'm in 2nd grade, and this stuff happened up to the 6th grade, that I learned for the first 6 years of my educational life that I was less than. I was stupid, I was unworthy of respect. And even though I could not articulate it, my spirit knew. And that was the way I was conditioned to feel that I was less than. Challenges, at that age, I had teenage parents, and there was nobody there to challenge that paradigm or to speak life into me. And back then, we didn't go to therapy, we went to church, but I didn't. And so what happened was, I carried that, not for days, but for decades. I carried that into my 20s. And it affected how I function, not only in the world, but in relationships and in corporate America. Why? Because our private pain always shows up in public places. This private pain that was showing up in public places, and everything I touched, I sabotaged. Because when you feel unworthy, when you feel less than, when you feel humiliated and abused and demonized and villainized, and you have no way to process that, you internalize that, and that becomes your identity. So unfortunately, I fell into a deep depression. Thank God for some prayer, but some therapy, and some coaching. We didn't call it coaching in the 80s, but some coaching. And I was able to slowly come out of that. And I understood I had to soar higher than my upbringing, because even though I was raised in it, I couldn't rise in it. And I had to soar above that. And that's why I'm so adamant and so committed to helping people soar over their childhood, over their circumstances, over their whatever crises, whatever their cultural conditionings, or cultural agreements. Because I realized that I lost probably 2 to 3 decades of my life. And today I'm still triggered if I'm not paying attention. And I think that so many times I meet so many women like you and I, very successful, but that private pain is showing up. It's showing up in how you love, and how you lead, and how you live. You can't not hide. You're hiding in plain sight. You think you're hiding, but all of us see your pain.
And oh, this is so good. So I just need to repeat in case someone did not hear it or didn't slow down enough or needs it repeated. Private pain shows up in public places.
Yeah.
The idea that we are hiding in plain sight. And I believe that happens because all of us are going through. So what you look like on the outside is not foreign to any of us. We see you, sis, because we're going through too. And it's up to each of us to take the veil off and to connect in a vulnerable way so that we can take the stigma away from whatever it is that we're trying to transcend over and out of. And I love, you said so many things, but just being able to rise above it, rise above what you were raised in. There's just so much childhood trauma that shows up in our adult lives. I really believe that some of us are still, 10-year-old girls walking around, or 18-year-old girls walking around, whatever has happened to us in our past. So could you just give us an idea of the how of it, as you have that early backstory, and you may have more that you want to share with us, because that was too good. I had to interrupt you. But as you're transitioning, could you share with us the how? How do you transcend above? How do you deal with, moving from what you were raised in to rising above it?
Oh, good question. First, I think it's important that all of us understand that to rise, you have to rise above the turbulence. And turbulence is all our childhood stuff. You can't be triumphant without rising above the turbulence, right? And I think one of the things that was really important for me is to understand, and this is the thing that we don't want to deal with as Black women, I could not do it alone. I could not see myself. I needed to understand how other people experienced me. Understand how I showed up in the world.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is we think that we can usher ourselves out of our trauma. You can't usher yourself out of trauma because trauma becomes your normal. Things are your normal. You won't question it. Abuse was my normal. So when I was dating someone and they threw me down the steps and broke my ribs, that was my normal. So I had to have someone to usher me out and see what I could not see for myself. That's why sometimes we see better through somebody else's eyes. And my challenge is I see women who don't want to invest because they think they read a book. Well, you can read every book in the world about swimming, but you don't know how to swim until you jump in that deep water. So I want to serve as a life jacket and a life preserver and help me swim. And that is a challenge that I feel that happens, especially with Black women. We don't want to ask for help, or we want to appear who we are, as if our pain is not in plain sight. And so I had to get help, one, to see how people experience me. I needed a mirror, one. Two, I also had to be honest and to understand that I had to challenge every belief that I had. Because truth can withstand critique. And if it's true, it can withstand critique. And I had to challenge, Sharron, why you can't be a leader? Why do you feel like you can't write a book? Why do you feel like you have to eat? Because I had a big eating disorder. Why are you using food to numb you? I had to question myself. But sometimes we are so, again, our pathology is our identity. We don't know what questions to ask. So I needed to get help. I needed somebody to help me address it. I needed to, here's the hard thing too, restructure my life. Because you bloom in a box. And I was in toxic soil because I was with other people who were just as pathological, dysfunctional as I was. Misery loves company. So I had to step away so I can step above. And when I stepped away to step above, I had to deal with the naysayers. Who does she think she is? She thinks she's better than us. And so people used to say, oh, you forgot where you're going. No, I'm just focused on where, you forgot where you came from. I'm focused on where I'm going. Right. But I couldn't by myself because peer pressure is real. I think we underestimate peer pressure. And the peer pressure to stay myopic and truncated was more pervasive than the peer pressure to excel. Because people, when I started excelling and being successful, then they wanted to take away my Black card. Black people didn't want me to be successful, who want to take away my Black card. Then you have white people who don't want you to be successful because how dare you be in this room with us? So then I had no place to land. Church people trying to give me this myopic way to understand scripture. I feel like my God was too big for their religious myopia. I didn't want to there. Tell it. So I couldn't find a place. I couldn't find my tribe, and I couldn't find my place. So I had to do what I call some paid friends, some therapists. I had to go buy some support until I got strong enough to follow my own conscience and not the crowd. That took a while for me to embrace who I was and to know and to like myself. So I couldn't fit any place, and I still don't really fit, but I understand I'm not weird. I'm just wired differently. And
so
that's a lot of therapy.
Yeah, you gotta stop for a second because we gotta breathe. We gotta breathe. Oh my gosh, this is so good. This is so good. And everybody is agreeing with me how good this is. But I got the church rock going on, and honestly, it's because that misfit feeling that you have expressed, so many of us feel it, but we don't even feel safe articulating it until somebody else does. It's like we need somebody else to speak what is already inside of us so that we can hear it and our baby leaps. It's like I need you to speak the life that I need to hear And until you have the courage to be the unique you that you are, that you don't have to feel like you have to be in with the crowd. You don't feel like you have to think like everybody else, do what everybody else does. You don't have to stay. Someone quoted what you said about stepping away to step above, that I really can shine brilliantly, and it's okay when you do that and you begin to say, you know, this is where I was, but this is where I am now because I've chosen to accept and love all of me. Somebody else hears that and it quickens them to life. Literally, yes. Their baby begins to leap. Yes. And so that is just something that is so necessary for us to do. That's why we are called to speak up and speak out, because we are going to be able to help somebody else do the same thing if we dare to do that. I'm taking notes while I'm talking to you. And the other thing that you said before I ask you a question, you cannot bloom in a box. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. So I have spent some time this year, these last couple of months. I slowed down with speaking engagements these last couple of months because I wanted to really, oh my gosh, Sharron, just really slow down and reflectively meditate and visualize how I want 2020 to look. And yes. What I want. And so I have had to say, I have had to write out, I have had to speak to myself and to others some very different words than I have in the past. I've had to speak up for myself and speak out in different ways so that I can walk into a different place, so that I can soar at a higher level in 2020. And so there are just so many, oh my gosh, there's so many comments in here. So I know that we're all kind of in that frame of mind. What would you suggest our first step be? You named so many things. Get a paid friend, a counselor, you know, look in the mirror. And I know we're receiving it all. But right now, today, I'm really about practicality. So right now, today, for the woman who is saying, you are speaking life to me and my baby is leaping, even if it's mindset stuff, what would you want her to do right now, this moment?
Good. I would want her to sit her beautiful self down and identify her pest. I call him pest.
Okay.
Pest is an acronym. I want you to sit down and think about your passed down beliefs. What did mama tell you? What did granny tell you that is not working for you? For example, I was taught that women could not be leaders. That wasn't working for me because I was born a leader. I was told that Black people didn't write. Passed down beliefs. You got to see it. And you have to write it down because sometimes we try to make our heads computers, but you can't strategize in your head. Sure. Passed down. Second thing you have to think about is list, I call expectations. Expectations are called unconscious agreements, unspoken agreements. And we have expectations when we decide to act according to social norms and labels. People always say, Sharron, you don't look like a minister. Well, what does a minister look like? Earrings. I'm going to be in the pulpit with my 5-inch heels. God didn't say I couldn't be cute.
He did not. Nope, that's not what he said.
However, who says that being holy means you got to look homely?
That's
homely
not what he said.
Together for me. So that's expectation, right? Unspoken expectations and their cultural expectations. Black people do this. White people do that. You got to write it down. The S is for, I want people to understand how systemically they have been marginalized and they continue to marginalize themselves. For example, if we know that there are glass ceilings that we keep bumping against, what happens is if this is a glass ceiling, it's almost our human nature to aim lower, right? To marginalize ourselves even more. So we have to understand systemically how we are being affected because you can't strategize around something that you cannot identify. I see systemically in corporate America, I understand I have broken some glass ceilings, but sister got cut too. I got some scars. Yeah. So you have to understand, you have to look at it because you got to strategize. The T is for you got to look at your trauma.
Mm.
I didn't realize that what happened to me at 5 and 6 years old was affecting me as a leader at 30, 35. You got to look at it. Because what happens is we keep creating those patterns. I have to write it down. Why did I allow people to talk to me any type of way? I learned it. He forced it. Then the S is for your stories. When we don't be critical thinkers, and the church teaches us not to be critical thinkers, that's another story. I believe in being a critical thinker. God can take my questions.
Yes, he can.
So when we don't learn to be critical thinkers, we create little simple stories for complex situations. For example, we'll make a story that I can't own a business. That's a simple story. But we have to look at our stories. Why do we make that story? Why? It's because of the other stuff. It's the systemic stuff. It's the expectations. It's the passed down beliefs. I want people to sit there and know who they are. What I understand is that we want to function in the world and we don't even know how to turn ourselves on or turn ourselves off. And if I don't have a manual, how can I optimize something or use something that I don't understand? We have to understand how we are wired, because we are wired to win. But however, you have to understand how you're wired. So I don't have to be Dr. Trinice. I just could be Sharron.
Yep.
But you have to know your gifts and your talents and your wisdom. But you got to sit, like my grandma said, go sit down somewhere and see and look at yourself objectively from a place of a detective, from an observer, from a third party.
Yep.
And that takes a lot of humility, takes a lot of love. Then go find what I call a loyal, loving stakeholder and ask them the same questions. Because remember, we all see in part. And we only want to see the good part.
Right.
So we need to have another person that we trust to say, how do you experience me?
Yes.
When I come in a room, what energy do I bring? How do you see me? Because remember, we need a mirror. And a person has to be just as strong as you are, because you can't ask someone who's insecure, because they're going to give you a jacked up version of who you are.
Yep.
That's the first step. No, it's all about self-awareness. You can't, what happens is we don't really learn learn who we are, but we start making strategies. You got to know the variables. You cannot play a game if you don't know all the rules. And we don't care. You don't need to know the rules of life. You need to know the rules of you.
Yeah.
What makes you work at your highest level? What environments turn you on? How do you experience creativity? And if you don't know how to turn yourself on, or turn yourself off, or to tell yourself up and to turn yourself down, you're in trouble. You have to be an expert on you. Very first thing that I say, know you and to seek help. The second thing, then you have to find a support system. I grow weary. That's the best word. I can't even dress that up. Of people not thinking that they can do stuff by themselves. The most high performing, high achieving people have coaches in our masterminds. You think to your highest level by yourself. You think better with people. Sure, you with people who are your peers. What happens when you're insecure? You don't go get a peer. You go get somebody who makes you feel good about you.
Right.
A peer is somebody who's at the same level, emotionally, spiritually, intellectually, and can call you on your stuff and use the same big words you got. But if you get somebody who's not your peer, guess what? It's like here, and they can't really speak to you because they're speaking up, but then you're stagnant. You have to have one on the same trajectory, so you both are rising. Because if not, you will become stagnant and will put you in a place of a teacher, which would do nothing but massage your little fragile ego. And massaging your ego is not going to help you with elevation.
Woo! if I can just interject, that is so much meat right there. Someone just boiled it down, everything that you just said, to know thyself. And so what's so wonderfully simple yet profound about that is many of us are so uncomfortable with ourselves that we literally do not know what you just said. We don't know how to turn ourselves on or off or up or out. We don't know. We don't know how to do any of that because we don't even know what we like. If you ask literally, what do you love to do? What do you love to spend your time doing? It would be connected for most women to their kids, to the person they're in relationship with, to ministry. It would not just be about them. And so for us, I think moving in, getting to know our past, those things that would keep us and hold us down and keep us from soaring. I love those. Please go back and take notes, y'all. You need these notes. Oh my gosh. And I love the idea. I am a critical thinker. I am as Dr. Renita Weems would say, I am a thinking woman. And so, so what you cannot do is dummy down anything to me. In fact, I love what you said. We are not being critical thinkers when we try to create simple stories for complex situations. And so how many of us have just, dwindled ourselves, our dreams, our thoughts, our voice. We have really literally minimized our own voice, and told ourselves it's not worth sharing, or we're not worth being whomever we've chosen to be. And so the last thing you said that really just resonated with me was about just taking those limitations off. I've often said, very recently, it's just been something that comes up for me all the time, that I am limitless. I literally am limitless. And the only limitations I have are those that are self-imposed. And I refuse to put any on myself. So, I've got work. All of us have work to do. But I think if we think in the terms of identifying, taking that reflective moment that you gave us to identify our past and then really get to know ourselves and then get that support system in place, that we will move into 2020 with far greater insight. This has been so fruitful. I really want you to share whatever your last words are for us, and what you have available to us, whether it's on your website, a book, wherever you would like us to go to get more of you and this experience that you've given us in these last few moments.
I'm so grateful for that. Thank you. I believe with this message, we have to be able to follow our own truth and not traditions. Our traditions will trap us in mediocrity, will trap us in misery and a whole bunch of mess. And sometimes we don't know if it's a tradition, but we have to question everything.
Yeah.
Now, how do you know the question when you become frustrated? Frustration is a blessing, because is a sign that your big personality, your big life is living too small. Because if you think about it, you start like, oh, frustration is a blessing. I love when I'm frustrated because I'm thinking like something off. Sister living too small.
Yes.
So I want women to think about that, because when you can live freely and fully, that's when you're going to feel fulfilled. I have so many women that I coach, half the job, half the car, half the career, half the title, but don't have fulfillment. Fulfillment is connected to our purpose. And other people don't understand our purpose, our reason. And instead of being a puppet and doing what everybody else wants us to do, being a parrot saying what everybody else wants you to say, or being a pawn and letting people use you and use you all up, you gotta be careful so you can be a person, and be purposeful how God has called us to be. So that's what I would say. I also will say that I have a program coming up. It's based on my book, You Can Depend on You. The course that's coming up, I have a Black Friday special. It's half price. It's the last day to sign up is December the 1st. And those principles that I talk about are from the ones that helped me when I was going through my childhood. Because the first 8 years of my life were hell. And I had a bad eating disorder. I gained 50 pounds in the summer. I was using food.
Wow.
And I couldn't get help because we didn't think Black people had eating disorders until I ate a ham one day. One day I ate a whole ham and a whole loaf of bread. What's wrong with that girl over there eating hams? You know, I laugh about it now, but however, I didn't even taste
that was serious. Yeah.
Medicating myself, right?
Yeah.
And so I talk about all the strategies, and you can depend on you. And I feel that because here's the challenge. I see so many women wanting a strategy, wanting a solution, but you can't have a good strategy with a broken spirit. You can't implement it. You can't implement. You will never be able to implement something from a broken place. You don't have to be, you can be on your way to whole. This is the thing we have to ask ourselves. What is our vision calling us to be? What is our goals requiring of us? What are our dreams demanding of us? So who you need to be? You know, if we don't understand that we're called to do something higher, we got to go get some paid friends, therapists, and get in the right community. We're going to find ourselves 2025 in the same place. I see women, they go to event, but they still don't have any elevation. Because I am just to the point where I don't go to any events because I can go if they're only church stuff. I can go to church every Sunday. My father's a minister. I'm a PK.
Right.
I have to understand, but I have to be able to talk about those subjects that are taboo.
I got to interrupt you. That is why we do Real Women the way that we do it, because you can go to a church service every day of the week. You can find a church service somewhere. So I am not trying to replicate church. That's not what I want to have. Real experience so that you can talk about real stuff. So go ahead. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I just think that's important because we have to talk about things that we can't talk about, that we feel. Money is not bad. You need money. I want a lot of money. We have success. We have to talk about sex. Sex is not bad. Spirituality and sexuality are connected. What's wrong with that? We demonize what we don't understand.
That's good.
And then we villainize it because I feel like just because you're bound, I'm going to live free.
Hey.
I'm a sexual being. I'm an intellectual, spiritual being. I want to be successful. If God says our gifts make room, I want a big old room.
Yes.
And so I don't want to be limited because people have questions around money. So I think that those are cultural agreements, like I said. So you can depend on you. We kind of dismantle those, and you can't dismantle those in isolation. Just like you and I are talking, it's this exchange. I'm getting something from you. You're getting something from me, and everybody's listening gets to be elevated. When we go get a book and read by ourselves, we're not getting the benefit of good wisdom. Now you got to be in the right rooms because somebody give you some jacked up. All wisdom ain't good wisdom.
Right.
Like, all wisdom ain't good religion.
Right.
So be with the right people. And so I hope people would join me. They can go to my website. I do a blog. I think once a week when I'm not traveling for work. I also do posts every day. And people ask me, do I plan them? I just see what God going to tell me that day. And I just put it out. So there are a lot of ways. Connect with me on Instagram. However people connect with me, I connect back. I have a mailing list. I'll put the link. So I don't know about it.
No, I got you. I already got you. So y'all, Dr. Jamison's website is already in the chat. You can go to the chat. It's SharronJamison.com. You can go there and a ton of information is there for you. Her link, her Facebook link is also in the heading of this video post. And so you can go to her page for Facebook and then find all of her other social media handles at both places. But the program, the book, the postings, the blogs, you can already tell how blessed you are going to be by connecting with her. This has been so fruitful for me. And it's like you said, the communication back and forth, even those that I've been reading and responding to in the chat, if you get a chance, they've been loving on you in there to look back later. But even that communication back and forth, communication creates, if we allow it to, communion. And so we have this opportunity literally to commune with each other because we are sharing. And I love, you said, we're critical thinkers, sharing critical thoughts with each other to commune. So thank you so much.
I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so thankful to you. And I admire your work. I'm so in awe of what you're doing. I'm so in awe of you creating safe places. I'm so in awe. I have heard you speak on some of your Facebook Lives. And also, and you can sing too. Look at God. Who said we cannot be multifaceted and multi-dimensional?
Who
Who
said?
said?
Take the limits off.
Yes, you are amazing. You're amazing.
Wait,
I just celebrate you.
Well, you made me smile. Thank you for making my heart smile. I really appreciate your time. I know you're busy, but again, we were talking before this, and we're gonna keep the conversation going. I can't wait to connect with you again in some other ways. You all go to Dr. Jamison's website. Make sure that you connect with her, that you follow up, and let her know how much she has blessed you tonight. It is literally the baby leaping talk that we needed to move us to soar higher into 2020. Don't forget that we're here every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, where we give you a sneak peek into what it's like to have real conversations with real women. If you want more of these conversations, not only on Tuesday nights at 8, but you can join our All Access community. If you join our All Access community, you get a virtual sister circle no matter where you live. We do it every month. We also have a closed community group where we pour into each other, and there are member benefits that are too numerous for me to list right now. You can go to realwomenrock.org to get more information about how to work with us as an All Access member. Again, realwomenrock.org. And then, of course, in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area, we're looking forward to closing the year out with you all in our local sister circles, because we have so much planned and in store. If you want to see what the topics are for each of those, go to realwomenrock.org. Love you guys. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Yes. I'm so thankful for life, so thankful for sisterhood, thankful for you all, and I can't wait to connect with you again. Love you. Bye, Dr. Sharron.
Bye. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Take care.